think we're live. Oof. Okay, if anybody can see or hear me, I would appreciate if you guys can jump in and just say in the chat that you can hear. So I'm going to start in about a minute or two. Oh, I should probably click start button. Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Drissi. Okay, so we're going to give everyone maybe like another minute or two as we start working on this. I see Dr. R. Dr. R, we're going to clarify the quantities on the N95, so thank you for that note. I think we do need to clarify that. Wow, our team has been busy trying to work on this order, so it's a big one. It's really a big one. We clearly, like, just to give an update while we're waiting for everybody to join. Yep, we got it. So far, again, we need to clarify with all the orders that come in, all the commitments. So we don't call them orders yet. So I need to talk about the process. But all the commitments that came in so far, it's interesting that KN95 we just blew out of the water. Like the minimum was 400 boxes for us to submit. We're already at 1,165. The N95 we're a little lacking because I think the minimum was 2,500 boxes. Not masks, 2,500 boxes. We're at 573 right now, and I texted our person to see if we still be able to qualify even if we're at 573. So we'll try to find that information before the end of today. So we are at 571 on the 3-ply masks. We're at 163 cartons of isolation gowns, and we're at 40 cartons of plastic face shields. So as people are joining, I need to go over the process, minimal quantities, and things like that. I also know that Cheryl is going to be joining us in about a minute. Dr. Sealer, Scott, how are you? And then, so we're going to be starting soon. Dr. Summer joined. That's awesome. Full house. Okay. So I think... Yes, size. Sorry, guys, texting about the size for N95. Dr. Niels. Okay, so let's start chatting. I need to check if Cheryl can join. So I really wanted Cheryl to join too, because she's the one who just helped to get this going as an idea, start working on this. And I think another reason I wanted Cheryl to join is we have other options available for the bulk orders. So did you receive the link to join? Irina, can you double check if Cheryl has the link to join? Okay. All right. So I'm going to share the screen to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Irina. Open share menu. Share screen. I'll be sharing my screen here. Okay. So first, let's start with the process. And so for everybody, just jump in with questions. I'll stop at some point. So, and I'll leave the chats open so I can see it. So everybody's familiar with this form that we sent out. The whole purpose of the form was to first to get the idea of, can we get to the bulk levels requirements that the vendor has put together. So we found this vendor who is highly recommended. We vetted them. We looked at how they're going to be placing orders, who the manufacturers are. We try to obtain the FDA clearance on all the products. We looked at the prices. I did my due diligence on the pricing. I know that some of you can get less expensive prices on my gowns and things like that. So we wanted to have at least something available for you guys that you can choose. Like, it doesn't have to be the whole thing, not N95, KN95s and all that. So you can just choose to see just to see what quantities you guys will need to make sure that it doesn't have to be just like one product or the whole thing. So that was the first thing. The second thing is, you can see that some products, we try to give a lot of information. So for example, like cost per mask or cost per gown or cost per face shield. But then we also put it together as price per box. So for example, the masks are coming in the box of the N95, they're 20 per box. KN95s, they're 25 per box. The 3-ply, they're 50 per box. Then isolation gowns, they're 50 per cartons. And then the plastic face shields that are 250 per carton. So, and then we also put the minimum order per practice. So like N95 should be 10 boxes, not individual masks. So that's where I wanted to clarify that when you put the quantities, and I've seen some offices, I'll share the screen. Some offices put the quantities of like 1 box, for example, of N95. That's not really helpful. So we do need to stay within those minimum requirements, ideally, and stay like, if your practice needs N95s, and it's the minimum 10. So make sure to put that number in. So that's that. I'm going to come back to form. Cheryl is coming back, so I'm going to add Cheryl first. And I see more people are joining, so hi to everybody.
Hey, Tiger, can you hear me?
Yep. Cheryl, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking me today to join you.
Yeah, there'll be awesome discussion. So I just gave a quick preview to everybody that we're going to start with the current PPE bulk order deal that we have. And then second, after we go through details and questions and stuff like that, then we're going to get to the discussion, which I really wanted to have you on the call, is what do we do next? Do we have enough buying power within all the Zen offices to take it to the next level? And then what the details would look like. So I'm really excited about this discussion.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. All right, so I'm back to the form. So again, those of you that are just joining, so we started looking at the form that you're all familiar with. So it's pretty straightforward. It's a commitment form. It's not the order yet. So you're basically going over the form, putting the email address, because we want to make sure that that's only for Zen offices, so we're not accepting anybody from the outside. Then you have this little green thing that shows you what the products are, descriptions, FDA. We also included in the email the link to the actual images of the product. So if anybody needs it, I can link it up here, send the message with the link to images. I think the most important part is this middle section with product details and the minimum requirements. So Dr. R brought this up, and I wanted to, Dr. Rasmussen, and I wanted to clarify some of the things because I think it was a little bit confusing, and it's on me. That when you're looking at the price per mask or price per gown, it's only the price per that unit. But then when you're looking at the minimum order per practice, you're looking boxes and cartons. So when you submitted the numbers, please make sure that your minimum order per practice is actually the boxes. So for example, the minimums we have are N95s is at 10 boxes per office, per practice, 4 boxes of KN95, 4 boxes of 3-ply, 1 carton of the isolation gowns, and then 1 carton of the face shield masks. So when you put the quantities, again, please make sure that these are the quantities. Then the bulk quantity requirement right now is 2,500 boxes of N95, 400 boxes of KN95, 400 of 3-ply, 200 cartons of the isolation gowns, and then 200 of the plastic face shields masks. So these are our minimum quantities. I want to give you a quick update where we at on those. Again, we're at 573 boxes of N95. We are at about 11 1185 on KN95. So obviously that's going to be a go. So that will go through. Then we have 571 of 3-ply. That's going to be a go for sure. That's going to go through. Isolation gowns, we're at 163. We're a little bit short, about what? 33 cartons of isolation gowns to make it happen, to go through. And then we're way behind on plastic face shields. So I'm not sure if that's going to go through. Again, once we have a final tally at the end of today, when we see the numbers, I'm going to check in with our contact and see what products are going to go through and what products are not going to go through. And so the process is going to be, after all the numbers are in, then tomorrow you will receive an invoice to the email address that you provided. You will receive an invoice with 3 things on it. You will receive the quantities that are going through, that we confirm and they're going through, and I mean the products, and then the quantities that you put in a system and the price. So that would be the first thing. Second is, currently the shipping is TBD. So let's make sure we're all on the same page. It's really hard for us to calculate at the moment what the shipping would be. We don't know based on what products are going to go through, what are not, what are the totals are. So when we send you an invoice, it would be no shipping costs, just the cost of the product. And we probably will have to include the credit card processing fee. I think it's like 2.8 or 3%, so that we can send that same price that we have per box to the vendor. And then that's as far as what's tomorrow. And then you have the cards on file with us. So we're planning to charge those credit card on files. So that's how we're planning to collect the money. Again, when you get the invoice with to your email tomorrow, just make sure to get back to us and let us know if that's okay, if it's not okay. So again, hopefully we can push that through tomorrow. And then technically after, I would just say Monday, we have 10 to 14 days, 7 to 10 days, but I was responding, I think, to Dr. Rob today, just in case. Keep in mind it might be 14 days that we should be getting the products. And again, these products should be delivered to you, not to the warehouse in the United States. So that's the plan that we have right now. So I was planning to go through and answer some of the questions that came in the forum. And then in the meantime, please feel free to start adding your questions in the comments. Are the N95 or K95 masks in stock? If we order and get charged but don't get more months so we can get a refund? Yes, so these are all going to be refunds available. So if you do place an order, if something happens and we can't get the products in, there will be a refund. So please reply. Okay, which is good. Please let me know if any of my, yep. So all the orders, again, anything about confirmations and if the order went through and stuff like that, if you receive an invoice, when you receive an invoice from us tomorrow, because all the KN95s are going to go through. When you receive an invoice from us tomorrow, that means it's confirmed, it's going. We're just going to have to, again, finalize the details on the products that do not meet the minimum requirements. Tiger, is it possible to have product shipped to my home instead of office? I believe so. Yeah, I think so. So as we go through this invoices tomorrow, I'll make a note. So Alicia and Irina on my team, let's make a note that if somebody needs to ship to their homes, let's identify that as well. Christy, are there N95s better for particulates than KN95, just the mass designation? Christy, I'm not an expert. I don't want to claim that I am. All I want to tell you is N95 is NIOSH FDA approved mask. KN95, we've been told that it's an FDA approved mask, but it's a Chinese standard for N95. It's KN95. Now, the guidelines, we had Mary Giovanni on the call 2 days ago to talk about the CDC guidelines. She said currently you shouldn't be wearing N95, or under the emergency authorization order, something like that, you can wear KN95 with the mask on top of it, the 3-ply mask on top of it. So that's what we know so far. I hope it helps. So while there are no more questions, I'm going to keep going with the ones I have on Zen. I turned my Zen supply off. Yeah, by the way, I want to quickly touch on this very quick. So for those of you who do not have activations active, like with the COVID, you had to pause your activations, we're going to have to reactivate them in order for you to take advantage of this bulk order, because we don't make any money on this. When you see the $350 price per mask, that's pretty much what we're going to send to the vendors. You know our philosophy on not taking any transaction fees. So what you see is what you get, the same with shipping and everything. And so the only way we can sustain ourselves is we need the subscription. So if you're planning to take a part of this and you were on pause, we're going to have to reactivate you. So that's going to be part of the email tomorrow. We'll make sure to include that. What's going to happen in the future, we'll discuss. Again, that's what I'm hoping to cover with Cheryl today, how we're going to address that moving forward, the bulk orders. But as of right now, what you're looking at is the prices we get. So I really hope that clears things out. Approximately when this will be shipped, 7 to 10 days. Can loops be worn with the shade Dr. Lair? I hope so. I don't know. We've been told that these are reusable and face shields masks. I hope that you can use the loops and the lights. But again, we have other vendors that have started to list their face shields masks, like Dental City is putting one, I think next week. I know for sure that one has enough space to have the loops and the shields. The light. So I'll keep it at that. I really don't know this product yet. I'll be honest. There more stuff came in. Can the face shields be used with loops? We have been experimenting with different options. Yeah. So, Christy, same thing. I don't know. I honestly don't. So once we process and we get this going, we should have more information, especially when the first batch comes in and we have the feedback from the offices. It would be so much easier. Let me know what payments are and address. So yeah, we'll figure that out. I only want to order N95s. So Dr. Ben, if you only want to get N95s, you only need to put the quantity for that N95s and we should be good to go. The boxes, again, not the masks. So for everybody who's watching, all the quantities are of the minimum of the boxes. Dr. Scott, if we don't get the minimum for N95, can we swapped? Yes, that's what I'm actually thinking to do. If we don't qualify for the N95 minimum, we should be able to just swap them out to KN95 and just process it as KN95. So you will see that in the invoice tomorrow. If, again, N95 is a no-go, we'll swap them up to KN95, put that in the invoice, and you will receive that tomorrow. So that's a great idea, Dr. Scott. What else? Do you have hand sanitizers? Dr. Roth says, check out the COVID-19 resource page on your Zen dashboard. We do have hand sanitizers. There's a vendor called Boom Supplies. They have currently hand sanitizers that are available. We didn't put them in a bulk order or anything like that because they have them. It's pretty challenging to ship them, so we didn't want to get into that. Arrival time frame. Like I said, 7 to 10 days. That's what we've been told. Just in case, plan for 7 to 14. Again, just in case. We need to change our shipping address. Yes. As you guys are seeing invoices coming tomorrow, please reply back with where you want the products to be shipped. So Dr. Hermanson, I'm checking on that. I don't know. That's a good question. Will N95 and K9 come with the fit test kits? I don't think so. Based on what I've seen, I think we're just going to go with what Mary said on the webinar. And I think, Dr. Hermanson, you were the one asking about how to do the fit test. Is it qualitative or quantitative, things like that? So I think we're just going to have to go with what we have and what we know so far. 9 locations, and if it's possible to have all 10 sent to one. Yeah, if you have multiple locations within Zen, again, just reply back to us and let us know where would you like them to be shipped. And we will be able to just figure this out. Yep, cell phone numbers, emails are good. Thank you for that. Please ship to my Waco office. Dr. Ben, of course, would love that. We'll put that in the notes. When we'll know the shipping dates. Again, on the invoices, please call email that have submitted. Yep, once you guys receive an email with an invoice, again, we will finalize it all tomorrow morning. That means the order is a go. So Dr. Samra, you will see that tomorrow. Confused as to the minimum. Yeah, I apologize about that. So again, minimum required quantity of individual office visits, entire bulk order. So again, let me touch on the minimums. So as you scroll through, you will see N95 masks, they're 20 per box, $115 per box. And that means it's a $575 per mask, right? So the minimum quantity is going to be right here. It says 10 boxes, not individual masks, 10 boxes. So again, if you go back to form, it will say 4 boxes, 1 carton, 1 carton. So just make sure again that these are the minimums, and the cost per carton is $750. Cost per carton of isolation gowns is $300. Cost of box is $32.50. So you're looking at 4 boxes of $32.50. 4 boxes at $87.50, and these are 25. And then this is 10 boxes of $115. So I hope that clarifies things. What other questions do we have? Confused? Please combine with previous order. We're working on it. I need this order to be delivered to a different area. 75. Yep, we got this. I'm going to say the address. I need to edit my delivery. Yep, we'll get that going. I would prefer to wait till after the web to places. That's absolutely fine. Please wait till we answer all the questions. Curious of timing of shipment. So, Dr. Bach, the timing of shipping, we finalized the order today. Tomorrow morning, the whole tally goes to the vendor, and then hopefully they get it processed pretty quickly. And then 7 to 10 days, worst case 14 days, we should have that ready to go. All right, let's go back to questions. I hope you guys, we covered a lot, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and then Cheryl and I will start just bouncing ideas, I guess. Cheryl, was that too fast? I can't hear you. Do we have you on mute?
There you go.
Awesome.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so I'll keep looking at the left side screen where people are going to be typing questions. I really hope to get through this. But as an office, I know you and I have talked about the bulk orders. How do you feel about this?
I think it's definitely something that we have to look at because as we've seen, supply costs have gone up 10 to 100 times literally in 8 weeks. And so we're all working on, obviously running a profitable practice and trying to control our overhead. So all of a sudden, needing to find a way to get a better deal than maybe what some of the bigger suppliers are selling them for. Definitely. It's important to me, especially when we're looking at every patient, we're changing out PPE possibly. That's really adding up fast. And it definitely touches the overhead a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. It's really unknown for us. I just hope that everybody knows where we're coming from is we're totally forced into this by our own decision, obviously. We never planned to even get into this. So I know that there will be some tension that distributors now will think that we're selling products. And again, we don't. We found a vendor that does it. So, which Dr. Neal, hopefully I can answer your question. Do you have an opportunity to purchase less expensive disposable gowns versus more expensive? If we find them, yes. I think right now we found the vendor that we feel comfortable. Is it the cheapest? Probably not. I'm sure we can still find KN95s cheaper. There are options. I know that some people mentioned gowns for $2. So far, we started with $9. We dropped them to $6 per gown. So things like that are happening. Again, we have to go with who we feel comfortable because we're also putting our name on the line. So that's where we're at right now. So, Dr. Sealer, yes, please tomorrow when we email you the invoice, you can respond back with the address where you want it to be shipped and we'll adjust that. So yeah, this is, like I said, this is a new territory for us too. Our whole thing started is when we talked about vendors that they may not have products available, like the bigger vendors. And, the prices that you see, like we see KN95, $69 per box of 10. And here we can get for $3.50.
Yeah, and I think the concept of moving to, buying them for cheaper just means you have to buy quantity-wise. So you're looking at, purchasing 5,000 of them at a time. So just to get that price, you're just buying bulk quantities, and it does get it down lower for sure. Yeah.
How you and I talked about this a little bit. There are options to get it even less expensive.
Yeah, going direct to China.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, I mean, I have worked with different sellers in China through Alibaba with our office prior to COVID doing marketing materials and things like that. I've never bought medical supplies directly from them, but my sellers that I worked with and have established relationships, they, are now they're making all this medical gear. So they've reached out and offered to make it available to us to buy it. So, but there's just a lot of vetting that has to be done because obviously we don't just want to buy something and then find out afterwards that it was recalled or whatever, but just kind of going through that process of vetting them, making sure that it's going to work well for us. The cost is definitely enticing for sure. Especially I think it's from the time we place an order until it would be here from China is like 7 days. So like they turn it around super fast and get it over here and really quickly. So.
And obviously, it depends on the current rules and regulations that China has on the export, but it should, like you said, it should be pretty fast.
Yeah, and really, I mean, until you do one round, I think there's just a lot of unknowns. Just because they say something doesn't necessarily mean that it'll end up that way. So I think definitely proceeding with caution is super important. But I think, you had touched base with like the bigger suppliers, like, feeling like you were taking away sales from them. I think at this point, like we all are on the same page. We want to provide PPE to our teams, for ourselves, to our patients, as far as just keeping everybody safe and healthy. So I think as far as like distributing PPE, if it is coming from a reputable source, like if we can get it and distribute it, that's just one more person that's like helping rather than like, you're taking away a sale from me, because I don't think this really should be looked at as like, so especially Tiger, I appreciate that you haven't marked stuff up because you really, had an opportunity with this bulk order to just, charge a little bit more and do that. And I thought it was super cool that you didn't do that. And you were very transparent about that, that you were just like, what, it's exactly what I'm saying. Like, this is a time that we just all need to come together, and whatever that looks like, however we do that, it's not, for each their own. It's like, come on guys, let's do this together. And teamwork. What does teamwork look like right now across the country with dentists?
Exactly. Yeah, we've talked about the buying power before. We just never had, I think, like a strong opportunity. But this is the time where the reason I got excited is, I mean, we're willing to take that extra work. I mean, my team has been on nonstop just working on this bulk order. We put everything on pause just to try to get this organized, done, vet the vendors. But at the same time, it's exciting because, it brings the value. So if there's no middle, right, and if all offices can get together, we can all organize this together, then why not just work on this together in the way that, we will facilitate it. We're, as you all know, like we're super transparent about how we're going to do things. The China, I think, option that you have is, I guess we're going to have to transport into the warehouse somewhere ourselves and find a way to do it, right? Like it's not going to be shipped to each individual office.
No, yeah, it comes on pallets. Like, I bought, marketing stuff from them before, and it's drop shipped. So they drop it off a semi truck on pallets. It's all saran wrapped. It's not just it would definitely have to be broken apart and then put into each order and then shipped to each office. So there's definitely a lot of work in between getting it and then getting it to the offices for sure.
Yeah, I would be curious to see, like after we get this bulk order done, how many other offices or like how many people would be interested to continue doing this? Is it going to be one thing and we're set, everybody gets their own quantities? And then we come back to normal, or do we need to keep this conversation going and make sure that as soon as this one is done, we get the next one in a pipeline? That's Cheryl, to you, and I hope everybody can give the feedback on this because I'm really curious what we need to do next.
I mean, I think we all want. I mean, we would rather have to. I mean, for myself in our office, I would rather have an extra couple sitting on or even an extra box sitting on my shelf right now, rather than not having anything, because once you're out, you're dead in the water. Like you can't see patients if you don't have your 95 or K95 masks or, whatever. And I think too, over the next couple of weeks, as we open up across the state and we have more guidance coming, from our state boards saying like what we need to do, I think that will kind of help us have a good idea of what it looks like and how much we're using in our office. Because I mean, honestly, I don't know. We don't open up until May 11th, so we haven't even actually made it through. So I think, obviously seeing patients is probably going to slow down drastically. So there's just, it's kind of, I was listening to a podcast the other day with Dr. Bowman, and he had said, just looking at this whole thing going back as like a startup. And I really feel like that was like a really wise words that he said, because like, how much PPE do you use? Like how much do you change it? Like how much do you order all of that? I don't think any of us really knows. And if you just kind of go into it with a really open mind, and at the end of the day, if you have an extra, 50, disposable gowns on your shelf, and that, I mean, if that's the worst case scenario in all of this, like I'd take that in a heartbeat, rather, than other things that could happen. So.
Yeah, my other thing too is I'm worried. Again, I'm trying to be completely unbiased, and I'm just worried for our offices when you talk to the reps. I remember talking to one rep from one company, the bigger one, and they said, "Oh, they got masks till the end of the year. They're stocked. They're good." And well, a month after, they got nothing. And so to me, it's like, I really hope that we have a strong alternative for our offices. Yes, you can rely on the rep, but I think that sometimes even they don't know. It's not that they would do it on purpose to tell you, to lead you in the wrong way, but I think just to have that alternative available where you can say, okay, I could probably rely on the rep, but we've seen what companies have done with minimal requirements and things like that. This just provides another alternative.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tiger.
Okay, so I don't see any comments about should we continue or not. Again, it's really going to be driven by you guys. So we'll put the form together moving forward through some questions. Prices is so much less from China, but lots of items from there. I'm in for a direct group order. You could get a gown before COVID for like 50 cents a piece. Yeah, that's another interesting thing. Like one thing that I'm really Dr. Niels was posting. One thing that I'm really trying to be careful about is what's going to happen with prices, because this is the benefit of distribution, like of distributors. Distributors know, they have connections, they know how to sell products, they know how to buy products, they know what's going to go below the price in the next month or two. We don't. Like, we're just trying to help and this and that. We're trying to find a way to work in this thing. One of my concerns is, what if the prices do go less? Like, instead of $3.50 for a mask of, one mask of KN95, it's going to go down to $1. I don't know if it's even possible, but that would be interesting to watch.
Yeah, just supply and demand, and I don't think anybody knows. It's just going to roll as the dice rolls. Like,
yeah. Well, Dr. Niels, thank you. Taking with some vendors right now, looking at buying direct from China myself. Yeah, let us know. So, Dr. Niels, if you find anything and we need to organize it as a buying power, I'll be more than happy to, again, put a form together, just like what we did now, and get brilliant minds together and just organize it. What time do these orders have to be in by today? So it's still live. You can go in a Zen dashboard, click the orange button, join the PPE, and it's probably going to be before end of today, like 12 o'clock, whatever that, 11:59. So then we can start working on putting the quantities together and sending to the vendor. Quick update on N95s. The vendor is saying that they will try to see what they can do with N95s, even if we don't meet the minimum requirement. So that's a positive sign. But again, we'll see what happens. I submitted my order last night and want to add. Shall I just send a new order? Yeah, Dr. Jushi, just keep adding. If you can't go back to the form, I don't know if it allows you to edit. I have to check. But if you can, we're going to be working on that manually. So just see go back, add more, and then we'll be able to adjust it for you. Rocio, how are you? Why are the N95 more than K95? They're both sure. Okay, so N95s are more expensive because they're NIOSH. They're made to U.S. standards, if I'm not mistaken, and KN95s, they're made to Chinese standards. I think that's the big reason why. About the size, I don't know. We're trying to find out. We're giving the information that we're given. I know that you need to have a proper size. I just can't help with that right now. Could you survey your Zen offices for start date? We are May 18th, so I'd like to order my order May 1st or so. That's a good point, Dr. Wilson. So we might want to look into it. What are your thoughts on openings and how to prepare for the PPE orders, Cheryl? Should we wait?
I think you're going to have waves. So I honestly think, I think it's great that you rolled this out because you kind of gotten a good feel of who's interested in it. And I think, again, it's like really uncharted waters as far as what everything looks like. But I think that, I think more is better. Obviously, I said that earlier. I would rather have too much PPE than not enough PPE. At some point, if prices are changing, the prices are coming down. We've seen this in other areas, over the years when there's a high demand, price goes up. And then once it kind of, all the dust settles, then everything kind of, goes back again. So as offices are opening up right now, there's going to be a really high demand. And until, there's not as many people that are coming down with COVID and getting sick with it. I think that'll kind of help everything level out as well. But I think definitely just it's like just one wave after another. Like this is the first wave with this bulk order. If the next one we can get, maybe we are ordering directly from China and we can do that. And then, just kind of, and then like each one just addressing it and looking at it, kind of getting a good idea and a good pulse on what everybody wants. And, if the big suppliers come back and they can drop, my pants that I bought, 8 weeks ago, they were, I paid 10 times what I just paid for them. In the last order that I did, like that's insane. But if, in 2 months they're back to what I was paying, 2 months ago, then all this is, we got through it and we got what we needed when we needed it. And, everything will be different moving forward, no matter how we look at it. Yeah.
It's interesting how you don't say like back to normal. You're like back to different. Back to different.
Back to normal because I don't know.
It's not going to be normal.
Normal again. It's going to be new normal, which I think, really embracing the idea that, what we did, like who your practice was, who your office was, what your office model was, in March is possibly, trying to recreate that going back. I think, for me, that feels like it could be very frustrating. And instead just, pivoting, one of the mastermind groups that I'm in, we talk about like choosing a word that you kind of go by each, throughout the year. And one of my words this year was pivot. And it's kind of interesting because there's definitely like a lot of pivoting that has to be done. And just going back and as you open, kind of just pivoting to maybe a new business model. Now's the time to make changes in hours or employees or, systems that you maybe had or didn't have, however that goes. So I think it's like a really good time to just look at it and, peel back everything and say, this is where we're at, like ground zero. Like, I feel like we're really going back into our office at ground zero. Yeah. And we're going to build back. And, what is our office in a year from today is probably not going to be what it was a year past. And that's okay. Like, it is what it is and it's what we have. And I'm thankful that we have we're all here in dentistry and we know that, everybody's going to forever have teeth and definitely it's choppy waters right now with trying to figure this out and navigate this. But, I think we're still in an industry where we're able to help people. People need dentists. They need to be taken care of. They need their teeth taken care of. And honestly, I think dentists, we all have such high standards with OSHA that we already do. So I think it's really giving us a time to shine in dentistry and say like, hey, look how, like we were already doing all this, like the stuff that came in our office before COVID, a lot of it was scary and our patients never think about it or worry about it. And, we have COVID and we'll work with that. But it just gives us a time to really shine and, take care of our patients and, and create jobs again and, go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. I talked on a webinar on Wednesday, back to your point about not knowing how to open, that I would start planning now. Like,
absolutely.
Just even with PPE, like we've got this bulk order option. We don't know what products are going to go through. Jump on Zen and see who has the products. And Dr. Dristy, thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Just jump on Zen and see what products available because, like I said on the call on Wednesday, well, Dental City still has masks for $19.99. 3 per limit per week, or no, 3 per 2 weeks, but you have to be their client and bought from them in the past, take advantage of that as well. It doesn't have to be all bulk order, right? So the vendors still have those things going on where some of them stocked up for so long and they have the stuff available. So I don't know. I would just go in, plan, use our resource page. We have all that information in there. See who has stuff in. If you can't get the products, join the bulk. If you can't, I think it's just the time. Some stuff will take more longer than it's now. So I really think, and we don't know when each state is going to be opening. So I was hoping Illinois would be open soon, but looks like we're sitting until end of May. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. So that's what's happening. So planning now, I think, is going to be super crucial. So Dr. Wilson, to your point, we'll change the survey. I think we'll do like the blocks. When are you opening? Like maybe between May 1st and May 10th and May 30th and whatever. So we'll put that in to get a perspective when everybody is opening, just to have that idea. But I would say let's start planning now. Oh, what an interesting time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's like you're living in like a moment in history. Like 2020 will forever be remembered of like the global pandemic. Like our great grandkids will study about it someday. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, as soon as we talked about the isolation gowns, the number went up. So we're short by 15 or something now left. So yeah, not too far from the goal. Any word on these HEPA face vacuums? Brian, I don't know exactly what you mean though.
Is that the cone thing that goes in front of the face? It's suction, kind of like that high suction off with the cord.
We had a thing. One of our vendors sent us the link to the machine. I think it's called DSA or something like that. Yeah. Probably, Cheryl, you're more right than I am. So they send us this link. It's a $2,500 machine. So if you guys are referring to that, we'll put that in too to see I'll talk to them. What's the quantity we need to meet as a group and things like that. So we can put that in a bulk order form as well. But it's next week after we get this one done. Yeah, Cheryl is correct. So I'm talking about a different thing.
Yeah, I know a number of offices have already bought it. It's just like a really high suction and it kind of just goes by their face, kind of pulling it out. So, but they're expensive to put in as well. So getting them down to a lower price would be super awesome.
Yeah, Brian, super pricey. The stuff that yeah. So Rocio, yes, we are talking about obviously if the N95s are no go and they're not confirmed, then we're going to try to switch all the quantities to KN95 and just get that processed. So that's the plan. I see Dr. Wilson is still typing. If we do decide to go, of course, Dr. Wilson, that's what we're here for. I really want to help the offices. And when we think about this China thing, it's really interesting. I really want to do it. My challenge is I don't know how I would structure it with warehouses and all that. I know we've talked about what are the prices for a KN95 we talked about just roughly?
Yeah, they're $1.95.
Versus $3.50, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the minimum that we needed to get done?
5,000.
Masks or boxes?
Masks. I believe it's masks. My understanding was that it was masks, not boxes. So, and I believe let me look. I think there's 10. I don't know if it's 10 or 20 in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Just a second here.
So either way, it's a pretty big order. If it's masks, it's manageable. It's within 250 boxes. If it's boxes, then it's a little bit more work. But I think $1.95 is a good price. We just need to talk as a group. If we want to make that bulk order together, we're happy to facilitate it. We're gonna have extra costs that we never even thought about. Thinking about having a warehouse and trying to ship it to all of our offices.
It's a lot of manpower.
I can get people together, we can get creative. We're just going to have to calculate how to split the cost among everybody. And then my concern is, what would every office find reasonable because again, we don't want to make money on it. I just want to get it done. so that people have stuff, and then we're good to go. And then you're happy to be part of a really good group that is trying to help you facilitate at really good prices. So that's my goal. Calculating how much it will cost to do the whole bulk order, yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't know. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I mean, between the gowns and the mask, it was like a $25,000 order. So, and that includes the shipping from China. So that $1.95 a mask is including
the shipping
from China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So whoever's still on the chat and listening, can you just provide your feedback, like yes, no? If yes, then that means we're in the right direction, that maybe we should go in that route and start looking. If no, then I know that you guys not interested. So I would like to gauge the audience and see where we at on that. So in the chat, in the bottom left.
Yeah, so yes, no. The KN95 masks are $1.95, and then the disposable gowns are $2.95, and that's shipped to, like, say, Tiger, if you get it, that's to your door, $1.95 or $2.95. There's not extra shipping charges. Additional shipping charges would be going from your warehouse to the doctor's offices or homes, or wherever they're being sent to.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Kicks is typing. Dr. Kicks, let's ship it to Westgate Dental Care, and then we'll distribute it from there. It's an awesome office. I love Westgate Dental Care. I think it's Tom Beck. Yep, Brian, it is. It's a lot more work too. We're trying to figure this out. People asked about, what do they call to put on the shoes?
Booties?
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't looked at booties. I really didn't. I just looked at the masks and the gowns. They reached out to me about the masks, and then I asked them about the gowns, and so we can ask them about that as well.
Yeah.
My guessing at this point, like, it's going to be 5,000 quantity for everything. Basically, I think that's kind of the limit right now to be able to get in on that and buy it at that price.
Yeah. Dr. Kicks, the more I think about it, let's turn the second floor into this little warehouse operation. Let's get Bess involved and let's go. I think this is going to be easy. Irene on my team ready to go. I have a feeling Dr. Scott Sealer would love to come to Chicago and help out. So I think we can make a really nice group effort out of this.
Have a big party.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
A PPE party. Packing party.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, the numbers look interesting. So the more I think about it, the more I get excited. So Doug said in the bulk drop ship, I'm sure I could get some other Omaha guys. Yeah. Yes. So for now, by the way, about the other people, I really appreciate that you guys really keep the link just to yourself. We're not ready to give it to everybody outside of Zen. Just for simple reasons. Again, like I said, we want to make sure we deliver, we don't overextend ourselves, and we're not doing it for money currently, or the way it is right now is just subscriptions purely. So I want to make sure that people know, and then again, just want to keep it that way for now. That's why, Dr. Sealer, let's talk about before we open it up to other offices. Yes, Dr. Kicks, let's talk it. What is it? And we painted the office tiger. It will look like, yeah, let's paint the office tiger. Exactly. That'd be nice. We have in Dr. Porter been discussed the PPE fee, but have not pulled the trigger yet as we are reopening. What are your thoughts on that, the PPE fee?
Charging the patients?
Mm-hmm.
So we're a fee-for-service office, and I feel like I wouldn't charge my patients at this point, but I mean, I could see eventually doing it. I definitely am not going to do it to start off with, but I have a little bit more flex room than other offices do that maybe are being paid contracted fees. We're getting our full fee. So to me, that's not as much of a concern. But if I had a practice where we were contracted and we had fees that were a lot lower than what our fee was, definitely, I would definitely consider that for sure. Okay.
That makes sense. I heard on our call with Mary, we talked about, she said there was a talk to try to get insurance companies reimbursed for that, but I don't know. It would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it going around a little bit. I mean, again, I think it's kind of like a startup. Like, we don't know if they're going to do it or not do it. It would be awesome if they were kind of mandated that they had to pay it and we could get a code and we could bill it. Obviously, that would be ideal. I don't see the insurance companies wanting to take on the cost of the PPE when we know they're very big about being profitable. So, but I mean, maybe that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess it just depends on the overall cost. Yeah, Dr. Buck, I agree with you. Like, the $1.95 sounds amazing. Again, at the moment, we're going to talk about this in a week or two. We'll see what the prices are. It really depends on what it all comes down to. One thing I can promise you, if we get involved, it's all going to be transparent to the point. If there are charges, then you will see all of them. That you will see what it costs and where it's going to go. When you did your own orders, what are there some challenges that you had?
So probably the biggest challenges are they're like our days and nights are off. So they're very busy sending you questions and responding to emails in the middle of the night, and they're non-responsive during the day. So you kind of have to either you have to be okay with that delay where it's basically like a 12 to 24 hour delay. Every question, it's 12 to 24 hours before you get an answer, or you kind of have to be up in the middle of the night. You have to be up at like 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night. And then they're instantly back and forth. Alibaba has a really nice platform. That's, what I'm going through. And they have a nice app that you put on your phone. And I actually prefer the phone app over the computer app. It's easier to navigate. And then just communication. Obviously, there's language barriers going on here. So you have to be very careful and very specific and asking questions, and kind of sometimes I have to go back 2 or 3 times and just to make sure that we are both on the same page, because I've bought through Alibaba for like 4, almost 5 years now. So I've worked with a lot of different sellers over the years. And in the beginning, I found that if I just made an assumption, that I would just assume that was the way it was done, because maybe like that's how we would all agree collectively that we would make that one assumption. It's not necessarily the assumption that they were making. So a lot of communication, asking questions. I usually like to start out, like if I'm going to order a new product, I will pick like 10 to 20 sellers, and I'll just ask them all the same questions, and then how they respond. I kind of like, you can kind of get a good pulse on if they're just trying to sell you a product, or if they actually are wanting to pick you up as a customer and like having a good relationship so that you'll buy with them again. That's important as well. And all products are not created equal in buying through Alibaba. Like I've learned that like the hard way, where I bought things that I thought would be better quality than it was. And then just learning to kind of navigate those ropes of making sure that if quality matters, you definitely don't want to just go with the cheapest vendor, and you need to know what questions to ask to vet the seller or the vendor to be able to make sure that if quality matters, it's okay to pay a little bit more. Obviously, we're paying for quality, and then just having those conversations as well with them. So those are kind of different things that I've learned.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The other thing too, I mean, right now, one of the reasons that the cost of these masks and the gowns are as high as they are is that it's 2 to 3 day shipping. They're sending it, in 2 to 3 days is leaving from the time it leaves the warehouse there, it shows up in your warehouse. Normally when I order, I do C crate shipping. So it's like 30 to 45 days from the time that I order it until it shows up here. So I think, if you had that kind of a lead time where you said, hey, throw it on a boat, we're fine waiting 45 days, the cost would come down drastically, but it's necessary for it to be here. And, it's like as fast. We needed it yesterday, basically. So that's a huge cost, is the shipping.
Interesting. Wow. I feel like we have enough expertise in the room to go and do it. Do this.
Today, some of these, like I said, I have bought from these vendors in the past. I've had good experiences with them. I don't honestly think that they've made masks before. I think they're doing it for the first time. So there's definitely a little bit of a gamble there, just to make sure that it's, that everything's going to turn out right. And obviously we can't just go over there and look at everything and inspect it and, kind of get to pre-use it. So there's definitely risk involved. I think that at the end of the day, there's definitely some risk that But then there's also some really, you're saving some great value as well.
Yeah.
So just weighing that like risk versus value, and if you can't get it from anybody else, or you're it's back ordered or whatever, and you get it that way, then it's definitely an option. It's out there, to consider.
Yeah. So just quickly, I'll address as we're wrapping up. So Brian, just to be sure, the idea of huge warehouse bulk buy, yeah, it is next round. Like this round we have already, it's due tonight. We're going to get it going. Invoices are going to go in tomorrow. Alicia and my team just posted a very important note. Just make sure your credit cards on file are the most accurate ones, because we're going to start charging tomorrow to make sure that we can get this through. So originally we needed to get the money to the vendor by Monday. So hopefully we'll have an extension by Wednesday. So we really need to get going on payments and make sure that we can charge this and get it done. And then Dr. Inborn, Dr. Go, what is the situation in some of the more advanced areas of it? I don't know, Europe, in regards to PPE guideline, and how is that affecting overall supplies? I wish I can tell you. I'm actually, with this whole bulk order, I'm trying to get more educated. I'm getting on the webinars about supply chain, how things are getting transferred, so that I at least know what's going on. So I'll have more information. Again, we never planned this for everybody. Like, that was not a part of the roadmap or anything. We're a tech company, or at least trying to be, right? So we're not in logistics, and this is what distributors are for. So we're forced into something new. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to go in and roll up my sleeves and go into this. So that's why we're learning too. So we're just trying to utilize what we can, the technology we have, and just go and try to get this happen.
I think that's the best we can do. I mean, fail fast, fail forward, right? Like, it works and it's great, and we all are like, wow, let's do that again. Or it's not, there's something better, and then we find out what works better and just keep going at it till we have a really great system that works for all of us.
Yep. Agree. So we're going to just continue thinking about it. Cheryl, thank you so much for that feedback, and you've been a supporter of this from day one. I just loved reaching out to you, and you're like, let's do this or let's do that. So it's awesome to have somebody to guide and direct. My writing skills are not always the best, or sometimes I think one thing and it shows up a different thing. And so for everybody else, if you do have contacts that you think you can have something done at the lowest price, let's work on this together. It doesn't mean that we're going to go that route. Obviously, we have to take into account every location, every single office, whoever wants to participate in this. But I think this is something interesting and unique. I mean, look at it. We posted this yesterday, and we're already at almost 1,000 boxes of masks collectively.
Wow.
So, and that's where the power is, that we can go in and try to get this done. So I really hope we can utilize this, every office one by one, and make it very, very transparent.
You're awesome, Tiger. Thanks for your brainstorming and just, trying to help everybody out. I appreciate your genuine kindness that you offer all of us.
Yeah, exactly. Let's work together. I'll keep answering some of the questions, Cheryl. I don't want to hold you. I only asked you to participate for an hour, so I really appreciate your time. I'll stick around. If anybody has more questions, I'll keep answering. But technically, we're done. Finish up your bulk order. That's through Zen. And then let's get going. So by tomorrow, you all will receive emails with what's confirmed, with the products confirmed, what's going to go through, the totals. Again, invoice will have total per product, no shipping yet until we know everything. And that's it. And the transaction fee that we have to charge and send that exact same amount to the vendor. So that's all.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiger.
Thank you, Cheryl. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, hi to Eric. All right, I am still here. So, Rocio, will FEMA confiscate this large order? I don't know. I hope not. We'll see. This vendor has done a couple of these already, so we trust them that they know what they're doing. So I really don't think that that's the case. All right, I'm still here. So whatever questions. Brian, of course, thank you as well. Irwin, I hope I answered your question. I know it's kind of broad. I really don't know, like, how it's going to affect. We're going to have to study it. Again, if you guys need to run, please do. Finish up your orders. Let's get this done. I'm just sticking around for more questions. Thank you, Dr. Kicks. I think we're going to do this. We'll talk more about it. It sounds interesting. I see others are typing, so that's why I'm sticking around. Yep, Kelly, we'll chat more. This is interesting time, so we'll discuss this together. We'll chat more on this. Thank you all for participating. This was a great discussion. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Yeah, we're gonna give it another 2 to 3 minutes. Sorry I got here late, but when will the order arrive? Dr. Lee, 10 to 7 days. So the order will be closing down tonight. We'll finish up all the paperwork tomorrow morning, make sure that we send out the invoices so you know the totals, that there's no confusion about a mask or a box or a carton. So we'll have it done and then we should be good to go. So 10, 14 days the latest is what we've been told. I hope it helps. Irwan, I'm just curious if any of that were requirement in other countries. I don't know. That's a good one. Irwan. That's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, obviously N95 is a standard here in US and CDC guidelines are here in US. So we do have contacts international. So once this whole bulk order done, I'll reach out. I'll find out. This is interesting. Dr. Sealer. I don't know. I have to check. I need to text Jody to see if they received. Yeah, Dr. Sealer, there are. Yep. So let me actually do that now. The Dr. Porter, the deadline for the order, I mean, let's just keep it before the end of the day, like what is it, 11:59, and then our team will start working on quantities, getting all assembled and putting it together. So we'll give you time until like literally late tonight, get it done. I mean, if you get it done early, that's great. Like I said, a lot of numbers, we're already where we need to be. I would just say I would ask all of you to revisit your numbers on the gowns. Where again, if you don't need it, that's totally fine. Like no question about it. But if you can revisit, we're about few away from meeting the minimum. Oh yeah, we're short on those. But make sure when you say 1,000, is it masks or the boxes? Both are fine. Just make sure that when you put the quantities, Dr. Porter, that you do put like in boxes. I think they come N95, 20 a box. Okay. Dr. Lee. All right, we'll give it another 3 minutes and then I have to run. Dr. Lee, you're awesome too, because our people are so awesome, our Zen members. That's why we're doing this. We'll get my order today. Please do. Yep. So we're watching. I'm literally watching at the spreadsheet. So as things come in, so we'll get it done. So just expect an email from us tomorrow, and we'll start working on it. All right. Thank you all. We're going to wrap this up. This audio will be only available for our Zen members. We don't want this to be public, available for all. Again, there's a lot of private discussion that I would like to keep just among Zen members. There's a lot of names that I mentioned, so I want to keep it just between us. So, and I really appreciate all of you keeping the link just between all of our offices. So thank you all so much. We're wrapping up, and we're going to go and start working on this. Are you short any other items? Just the gowns. Face shield masks, I think they're going to go. Again, we're way off on those, but I think Dr. Porter, the gowns, yeah, if you can bump up the numbers, that would be phenomenal. I would really appreciate that. Okay. Thanks all. Thank you. Thanks for participating.